Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. At the outset, I congratulate the temple authorities for keeping the tradition of worship, upasana of Bhagavan available for everyone to congregate in one place and conduct or practice their spiritual sadhana. And also at the same time, every year they invite not only me, other people who are in the spiritual field to give proper understanding of why we have to bring religion and spirituality in our life. As Dr. Hanil has clearly pointed out, meditation is necessary for us to enhance our spiritual progress. And they are also engaged in building an exclusive area in the temple, next to the temple, for that purpose. I'm sure all of you would make the best use of the facility available for your own personal enhancement. Why should we meditate? That's a topic that is to be discussed today. This particular, my right side. This particular verse, I'm going to show for the people here. This particular verse that we see available to us in Bhagavad Gita, it's a very interesting and very informative set of verses. Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda used to say, this is the called ladder of fall, where we fall from our pristine supreme state of oneness with the self, our own pristine blissful nature, our own godhood, divine nature. And interestingly, the verse starts from dhyanam. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate. Every one of us are capable of meditating. No one in this world is incapable of that. But what we meditate is what is the question here. By definition, dhyanam or meditation is continuous attention upon a thing. It is different from concentration. Concentration is where you focus upon one thing and think about it with many, many thoughts. If I am interested in going for a vacation in Hawaii or Caribbean islands, then I start thinking about it. What kind of airlines should I choose? Which are the dates I can probably take off from my work? What are the things I should carry? Who is going to go with me? Which hotel to stay? What kind of food should I eat? How is going to be the temperature? What clothes I have to wear? When do I put it on the Facebook? So we keep thinking about the vacation with many thoughts because we are planning and well ahead, and then we get prepared for that. So our concentration is on how to make it happen. Whereas dhyanam or meditation is not many thoughts about one thing. It is one single exclusive thought, leaving aside all other things. Dhyanam, ekagra chintanam is concentration. Dhyanam is ekavrutti, single thought. And that is the reason in this particular in this particular verse, I have to remember that it's in this side, left side. In this particular verse, Bhagavan Krishna says, Vishayan pumsaha dhyayataha dhyanam kurutaha. When an individual is continuously thinking one-pointed attention with single thought, when a person thinks about an object, a thing, and what do we usually think about? It is usually an object of joy. Nobody spends too much time willingly think about something which one is unhappy about. If at all such a thought comes about an unhappy thing, one would like to replace it with something which is pleasant. So when an individual is thinking exclusively about a Vishaya, an object, which means that he is deriving joy out of it. And when we start deriving joy out of anything, we associate ourselves with that particular object more and more. A person who is about to get married is thinking about his fiancée and about her, how to go about with her, what kind of, when should I call. So what happens after, even before getting married, he starts to live in his mind with that person. Or you are buying a new car. Even before you buy the car, you already fancying in your mind, associating yourself with the car, standing next to the car, standing inside the car, driving the car. So that is called Sangha, association. Therefore, when a person thinks about objects of pleasure, teshu, vishayeshu, in those objects, Sangaha upajayate. Association takes place. In fact, our whole life, we deal with many, many things, everyday life. Our mind is capable of bringing the memory of the things that we come to see or hear or taste, interact with. Continuously it is bringing the memory, and thereby it is associating oneself with the objects or beings around us throughout our waking time. You hear a sound somewhere, immediately you know what that sound means. Associate that sound with some other experience. If I am smelling some vada being made in the kitchen downstairs where I am, immediately my mind goes to that vada, even though it is not right in front of me. And how crispy it will be when I have it with a chutney, that too made of coconut chutney. And when it comes into my mouth, what a wonderful experience it will be. So association takes place. Sangaha. So when a person singularly thinks about any object, those objects to which he is thinking, about which he is thinking, there will be an association. Sangaha. When association takes place with that object, we feel like owning it, possessing it, relishing it, enjoying it as soon as possible. So that is called kama. Kama is desire. Desire to own, desire to experience, desire to possess. So even people whom we strongly associate, we would like to own them, possess them, secure them. We do not want to share. This is what happens between children when they become between a boyfriend and girlfriend, a man and a woman, or a boy and the girl. Especially in these kind of relationship, kama is intense. There is jealousy if somebody else tries to own it. Somebody else tried, even looking at her. Why are you looking at her? She's my girlfriend. Why are you calling her? Why do you have her phone number with you? Is it not that there is a feeling of insecurity, restlessness? Somebody else will take her away from me. Children, you will see, when before you buy the toy, the child is very quiet and is playing with something. The moment you buy the toy and give it to the child, when it is recognized that it is mine, it will never share with any other kid. This continues. When the small child, it is only the toys. Afterwards, it is girlfriend, boyfriend. Afterwards, it is my work. Because in my workplace, my job, I am doing. Why are you coming and interfering? I want to prove how best I am in this. I don't want anybody else to do this. I don't want to give up my position. I don't want to give up my power. I don't want to give up my authority. Same thing. Where did it start? Dhyanam, Vishaya Dhyanam. In that object or a thing where you have found yourself having some pleasure, some kind of happiness derived out of it, some kind of security you feel about it. All of us have many things around us, people, objects, things like, and all of us think that these things can bring security to me. I feel very strong when I have all these things which I want to possess or with me. Even among the children also, the younger one is spending more time with the mother, and the mother also tries to spend more time with the child because that fellow still needs a lot of help. Other kids will not like it. Other children will feel jealous about it. So first is the intensive, one-pointed seeking of it, dhyanam. Then constant association in the mind with respect to that object or a person or a thing. Then that association leads to ownership, possessiveness, kama, to derive maximum joy out of it and not share with anybody else. But in case that object of love happen to be taken away from you, or you are not given the opportunity to own it, krodha, anger, restlessness along with insecurity, along with rage. How dare you can take it from me? How dare you do this? That anger is about something I'm deprived. I'm not angry about everything in my life, about everyone in my life. No. those people who have deprived me the happiness, those people who came as an obstacle to my goal, those things which are, those people who have taken away from me what I consider as mine, anger. That anger is a expression of karma in other form. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, when Arjuna asks this question, why people commit sin? Why do people commit blunders in life? Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varsneya baladiva niyojitaha. As though being forced to act in that way, why do people commit sins in life? Answer given by Bhagavan is simple. Kama yesha krodha yesha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhi enam iha vairinam. Come to understand, Arjun, that this is the greatest enemy of your life, and this enemy called anger is born out of rajasic tendency. Rajas, restlessness, ambition, desire, ego, pride, arrogance, possessiveness, authoritative. That anger is the outcome of what? Outcome of desire. Where did it start? Seeking to have an object of pleasure, dhyanam. From there, association, sangha. From there, desire to own, possess and completely derive maximum pleasure out of it. The desire, even it is abstracted, krodha. Krodha vijayate. Now, many of us think that anger is good, Swamiji. You know why? Because when we have things that are not going well, people are not listening to us. So, even if people are not listening to us in a proper way, or they are not doing the proper thing, then I think we need to shout. We need to get angry. At least we should at least show that we are angry. Then only everything will go straight. So we use anger as a weapon. And what happens is, when you do use it as a weapon, you do not know when to withdraw it. Gurudev used to say, I use anger as a weapon, but I know when to put it back in my pocket. Most of us do not have that ability. We get angry, we get upset, and then we get going with that anger for a long time. We do not know when to stop. So anger born out of desire is different from anger born out of concern over a situation. So here it is born out of desire, anger. Then what happens? When you are angry, you forget all other things in your life. Sammoha. Sammoha means delusion, intense delusion. Delusion is what? Wrong priorities. You forget about all other things in your life. Meaning, I'm preoccupied with this anger and I'm not able to think about anything else, and that becomes a dominant thought in my mind. Sammoha. Like a cloudy day, you cannot see the sun at all. Sun is there, but not visible. Everything is dark, clouded. In the same way, a person's mind becomes clouded and his intelligence, brilliance, everything is hidden. And such a person who has such a sammoha, it has happened with Arjuna also, but that is out of sorrow. Sorrow also, shoka also can give moha, krodha, anger also can give moha. So that delusion, like a thick cloud, it covers your vision. You are not able to see clearly. You are not able to understand the situation properly. Then that delusion leads to mind becoming devoid of remembering things. Smriti Bramshaha. Smriti Brahmaha. Brahma means bewilderness. Mind become bewildered because sufficient information is not available. It is possible for even to person to forget about all that person on whom you are angry. He may be your friend, he may be your wife, you may be your husband, you may be your parents, you may be a guru also. You forget what all that person has done to you, helped you. Everything is forgotten. Completely you lose memory about that. Even you have seen, people have killed their own kith and kin. Brothers and sisters kill themselves, kill each other, destroy each other, cheat each other. Why? Because sammoha. What I want, I did not get it. How dare it is? How dare he can take away this thing from me? You didn't understand that a small instant, small thing, a small object or a few things that will destroy your relationship with the person forever. The relationship built over 20, 30, 40 years, you have forgotten in one few minutes, 1 second. It happens. Smriti Brahmaha. Smriti Nashaha. Forget about everything, and then that person becomes like a devil, like a Rakshasa. Even God we forget at that time. Go to hell, we say. Why not you next time onwards when you get angry, go to tell them, go to heaven. At least bless him at that time. No, we curse him. So, Smriti Bramshat Buddhinashaha. Now you may be a great intellectual, you may be a man of lot of achievements, you might have great professional skills, you have a stature in your society, you are elder of the family, everybody is looking up to you. All that wisdom that you may probably have about everything is gone. When memory is gone, your ability to discriminate is lost. Discrimination is gone. You do not know what is right and wrong. You forget about what is to be done, what not to be done. Dharma and adharma is lost. Merit and sin the discrimination is lost. Good and bad you don't see anymore. That overpowering of that anger leading to delusion, leading to losing memory, leads to destruction of discriminative ability. Which means what? We as human beings are endowed with this great privilege of using buddhi for directing our mind in the right direction. Our life is directed by what our understanding about life. If that is lost, ability to discriminate is lost, we are worse than an animal. Buddhinashat pranashyati. See, if you take any animal, it won't kill anyone unless it is feeling dangerous about it, or it may kill it for food. Otherwise, it won't. It is not going to harm anybody just like that. But human beings, without any reason also they hurt each other. You have seen in the shooting in the downtown, just like that. Why? I want to practice shooting. And in the process, people die. Even today, even yesterday, I have seen young children are shot. Why? Indiscriminately. Don't we say indiscriminately he did that without thinking? Yes, why? Can you understand what kind of a human mind will be? That will be. No, we will not go to that extent of, shooting each other and killing. But in our own daily life also, we say words, we utter those words which will be deeply hurting others. That is also in a form killing only. We have lost our ability to think properly. We hurt others by action, by thought, by speech. That is buddhinasha only. Loss of wisdom. When you are angry, you cannot have that ability to think. And therefore, Vishaya Dhyanam, thinking about objects, leads to finally Buddhinash. And Pranashyati becomes in a person unfit to be called as human being. Where did it start? See, it's like ladder from where you fall down. Step by step, you come down. It's like you take a ball and put it on the top of the steps and put it there, it will come down so fast. In the same way, Vishaya Dhyanam, thinking about objects of pleasure, will lead you where? To the complete destruction. So, Dhyanam, please understand, meditation should be done for the right thing. That is what I am trying to say. Meditation we can do. All of us are capable of doing. But why should we meditate is not the question really. What should we meditate? Or in other words, why should we meditate upon God? Or higher nature of ourselves, the self, Paramatma. Paramatma Dhyanam Kimartam. Ishwara Dhyanam Kimartam. For what purpose? We go to the temple, but our mind is somewhere else. In front of the Lord, we stand, but mind is thinking about what is tomorrow, what contract I have to sign, whom do I have to meet, whether I get my contract successful or not, whether I am able to finish my project or not, or some other thing. When you are at the altar of the Lord, forget about everything else. Vishaya Dhyanam Vishaya Dhyan ko tyag karo. Remove that. Remove that my mind's habitual tendency to think about things that are pleasurable, desirable objects, or pleasant thoughts about some event that happened, or unpleasant things that have happened. So here, what should we think about then? So now I have composed a small little set of verses which I will share with you. Okay. First one is, we have to think about Bhagavan. Dhyayataha Ishwaram Pumsaha Sangastasmin tu Jayate. Instead of thinking about objects of pleasure, let us think about object of divine nature. Ishwaraha, the Lord, who is the very repository of all good virtues, all values, all mightiness, all powerful, all prosperity, not only all prosperity that He can give us. There are people who may be rich, but they don't give anything. There may be people of power, they don't give anything. Bhagavan is one who not only has all the things that anyone can have, but He is also capable of giving it to anyone. In fact, in one place, Bhagavan Krishna says, I will give myself to you. You will become me. If you can meditate upon me, then I and you are not going to be different from each other. Who can say that? Atmaeva. I myself will give it to you. Atmanam dadami. I'll give it myself to you. So, Dhyayataha Ishwaram Pumsaha. When a person starts to direct the mind towards the Lord, this is a practice. Dhyanam is an abhyas. Because habitual tendency of our mind is to go towards objects of pleasure, objects of the senses. Ishwaram Dhyayataha Pumsaha. What happens then? Exactly like what in the case of object of pleasure, Sangha takes place, association takes place. Here also, as one starts to meditate, have a single pointed attention upon the Lord, exclusive of other things, Sangha, association. Tasmin Ishware Jayate. See, japa, when you do take up the practice of japa, take the name of the Lord. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 When you do that, first thing you'll find is your mind has become calm. Because, you know why? Narayana is not an object. Narayana is not a vastu, an object. Nor even Narayana is a person, is a single individual, a jiva. Is not. Who is Narayana? The one who is present everywhere as everywhere, everything. So, ye the one who is Narasyayanam, the very goal of human being, and one whose presence is everywhere, and you are uttering his name, your mind does not get into a particular vritti, a thought of an object. You may have the form of Narayana in front of you, but as you start to meditate upon that form, forget about that particular form of the Lord who has Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Asta, Padma, Hasta. No doubt you have to keep that for the sake of point of attention. And once you do the dhyanam of the name of the Lord, looking at the form of the Lord, expand your mind to not that particular form alone. Bhagavan, Ishwaraha, Sarvavyapi, Sarvashaktiman, omniscient, omnipresent. And when you get to that level of understanding, Bhagavan mandir mein hai. Only in the mandir, only in a temple. Ghar mein nahi hai. Is not at home. He is there also in the temple, in the house, wherever you go, because आपके हृदय में ही उसका वास है. Your own heart is his abode. Slowly come to that point. That is called association. Sangha. It is not that you are carrying the idol of Narayana along with you. No. You are carrying him in your heart. So, Sang kahan hota hai? Where is that association takes place? Antar Hridaye. You associate yourself with that Lord. The Lord I am having in my heart. Bhagavan is in my heart. If I have the Bhagavan in my heart, then how should I behave in this world? See, what happens is, when you are in the association with your friends, let us say friends whom you know for a long time, and you are with them, so you speak like them. You don't speak like a parent at that time, thank God. But when you are in a house with your children, you speak like a parent, your father or mother. When you are with your brother, you speak like a brother or a sister. When you are with your parent, you behave and act like a son or a daughter. When you are with Bhagavan, you behave like a dasa. In front of the Lord, you behave like a servant, sevak, bhakta. But when you have him in you, in your own heart, what do you behave like? Your attitude changes dramatically. मेरे साथ भगवान है. So when I associate myself with Bhagavan, then I look at the world. This creation is what? My own extension. Everything is none other than my own presence. See? Isha Vasyam Idagam Sarvam. I am not a created being. I am the creator. Not with arrogance, with love, with prema. I see myself in everything around me, in the tree, in the plant, in the bird, in the animal, in beings, living beings. All of them are an extension of me. My presence is there in all of them. Sangaha tasmin. Tasmin meaning Ishware. Who is the Ishvaraha? Sarvakarta. Srishtikarta. Srishti rupena yat tishtati. One who is staying there as the whole creation itself. Creation is no different from Bhagavan. The world is no different from him. The world is expanded version. His body, his own body is the world. Then, tasmin upajayate. Tasmin, that in that Lord who is in my own heart, association with that Lord will give me a totally different perception of this world. When that Sangha takes place, then that is the next one that happens is when the Sangha takes place, what happens then? Sanghat sanjayate prema. Then there is an infinite love. The love which has no limitation. You know, when we love our own children, we don't put restrictions, don't we? When the children, when you look at your own child, you don't put restrictions how much you have to love him or her. With others, you may have restrictions, but with your own child, you have no restrictions. And because you experienced that from your own mother or father, unrestricted, unconditional love. Whatever mistake I have done, my mother has forgiven me. Whatever mistakes I have done, my father perhaps disciplined me, but with love. Unlike a teacher in the school, or a policeman, or anybody else in this world. Why my parents are different from all others in this world? Because they have unconditional love for me. Even if I make a greatest blunder also. If my own mother or father can unconditionally love me, what should be my attitude towards my own children? Same. And Bhagavan is one who, the very Data, Pita, Mata, Pita, Data of the world. Bhagavan himself says in Gita, Pitaha Masya Jagataha Mata, Tata, Pitamaha, Pavitram Omkara, Ruksam Ejire. So he says that I am the father, mother, grandfather of this universe. So when you emulate his qualities in us, we will have none other than unconditional love everywhere. You look at people with joy and love. You know, you don't have any more idea of looking at anybody with this, looking at them as a stranger. Nobody is a stranger. In this creation, nothing is unknown to you. Meaning, nothing is unrelated to you, to be precise. Because everything is related. All of them are belonging to one single family. That's what Vasudha Eva Kutumbakam in our tradition. Bhagavan's family. So, prema here is not just a love or lust. Prema is of the nature of love unconditioned. And this prema is going to develop into the next level called bhakti. Bhakti, the nature of bhakti is surrender. You just surrender. Your ego is lost there. See, in the path of knowledge, what we call it as nishtha. Nishtha, abiding in the higher self. In the path of devotion, the same thing is prapatti, surrender. Thereafter, you have no complaints in life. जो हो रहा है ईश्वर के अनुग्रह से सब ठीक ही हो रहा है. Everything that is happening in my life is according to Bhagavan's will. Thy will be done. It is his own command. Why should I complain? Whatever I need to do, whatever I need to correct, may I do it. Whatever I can do, I will do it without complaints. Don't sit in the corner and cry. What I can do, I will do. What I cannot do, leave it to him. He created this world. So the lakshana of a bhakta is prapatti. I am ready to give up my individuality and allow the Lord to work through me. I am ready for taking his command and let what he wishes happen. See, when I eat my food, lunch or dinner, afterwards I don't need to worry about it. Once it is gone into my stomach, would I need to worry about it? हो रहा है. Bhagavan has said in Gita, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha Prana Apana Samayuktva Pachamyannam Chaturbidam. I am digesting the food. Why are you bothered about it? Gurudev used to say, do your best, leave it afterwards. Let go of it. So that bhakti is no doubt love, great love for the Lord. But the nature of bhakti is what? As Narada Bhakti Sutra would say, Parama Prema Rupa. Of the nature of highest love. What is the highest love? Surrender. You don't demand anymore. Love is not for demand. Love is not to possess. Love is not to command. Love is not to enslave anyone. Love is to allow. All love is allow. Allow it to happen. True love gives freedom. True love never holds anybody. You don't feel insecure. When I have love, I'm ready to allow all things that should happen, let it happen. But what happens is in our human love, when we love a person, we'll try to hold him or her under our control. That is not love. That is possessiveness. Whereas true love is there, all freedom you give. All freedom you give with proper instructions. I love you. Think about me when you do things. You tell your children, think about me. I am full of love for you. Think about me. If you're doing anything, don't harm yourself. Because if you harm yourself, I will feel for it. Bhagavan has given so much of freedom to us, isn't it? As human beings, how much freedom we have. Is he coming and telling us what we should do, what we should not do? Does he instruct us every day? Does he put ourselves in some condition? No. Why has he given so much of freedom to us? And we are misusing that freedom. See, in a country where there is democracy, nobody is going to come and tell you what you should do. You do whatever you want. Don't harm others, but if you do that, then we will come. and take necessary action. Isn't it? In the same way, giving love means give freedom. Surrender to the Lord. That's bhakti. So when you have that bhakti, premna bhakti jayate. With that infinite love, you give the infinite freedom also. And by giving freedom, you enjoy freedom. When you give freedom, when you allow it to happen, your mind is free. Your mind is not anymore agitated, restless. Bhagavan is there to take care. Why should I worry about it? That joy, that peace, that love, when you have that love, when peaceful, mind, when you have, that gives you so much of joy within. Now here you see what further happens after that. When bhakti is there, there is no more further moha. Nothing else can enter into your head. In that case of a krodha also creates moha. There nothing will enter into your head because you are fully occupied with that restlessness. I'll tell you a short story which is very interesting. A king was there and he had 3 sons. And he wanted to make sure that these 3 sons are capable of ruling the kingdom, and he wanted to test their wisdom. So what he did was, he told them that I'm going to give you a small kutir. Kutir means a small enclosure. Let's say 10 by 10. And I will give you as much money as you want. You must fill this given area with something filled to the brim, completely filled. It's up to you. Whatever you want to fill it up with. I'll give you 1 day's time. Next day, he called the princess and asked, have you completed the job? Yes. Okay. He went to the first one. The kutir or the room was locked, enclosure was locked. You have locked it? What did you fill it up with? He said, I spent a lot of money to fill up because there's such an area, 10 by 10, 100 square foot. So I have to put a lot of things. You open that room. It was filled with so many things, objects. And there's so many furnitures and table, this, that, and all the ornaments, this, mala, this. It was looking beautiful, all right, but filled with things. How much you spent? Quite a bit of money. Okay, let's see. The second boy, are you ready? Yes. They went there. Okay, his room was not locked. Daddy, I have to tell you this. What? I spent the minimum and filled it. My brother, on the other hand, he spent so much money. I spent bare minimum. Okay, what is it? By the time they reached even that enclosure, the smell started so much. Open it. You open, filled with filth. All possible dirt in the entire city, he brought it and put it there. He didn't want to spend any money at all, only for the transport, because he doesn't need to pay money for that filth. So he filled with it. King said, just close it. I don't want to see it. The third boy, smiling and standing there. You filled it with your thing? Your room? Yes, yes, yes. Come. So he went there and he opened the door. Nothing. There's nothing. Completely empty. Dark. So what did he do? Daddy, come inside. Went inside. He gave him a matchstick and there was a candle. Come on, please do it. So he struck the match and lit the candle. The light filled the entire place. He smiled and said, "This is what I did. You did it." Filled with light. See, our mind can be filled with filth. Our mind can be filled with worldly things. But our mind is filled with light. How if light you will feel? You will feel so delighted, feel so free, empty, at the same time filled. You see? That is the bhaktya jayati sammoham. Preoccupation of the mind is completely overcome by filling with love for the Lord. Complete surrender makes your mind so free and at the same time very light. And nothing can enter there. If anything enters, it won't get enlightened. In a place where the candle is kept and the light is everywhere, anything comes there, what happens? It gets only brightened by its presence, isn't it? So therefore, here what we see, bhaktya jayati sammoham. Sammoha, vimohat, when the mind is devoid of any other thing, bhagavat smritihi. You only have so easily, effortlessly, spontaneously, without any external effort or any further effort, Bhagavat Smriti takes place, remembrance of the Lord takes place, anywhere you go, wherever you go. Tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyonyam tat prabodhanam. Thinking about it, talking about it, discussing about that, the mind becomes so joyful to talk about the Lord and His glory, whose presence is there in you, in me. So when I talk about the Lord, you don't feel alienated. You feel yourself coming closer to yourself. So when you attend a satsanga, the person who talks about Bhagavan, when he opens the topic and starts talking, you start traveling within yourself. You don't go out into the world. And when you come to yourself, you feel so at home, at peace. Because Bhagavat Smriti gives that. The remembrance of the Lord is remembering of your own being, and for which you don't need to struggle. If I ask you your name, do you have to struggle for it? My name? Wait, I have to think about it. It's not there. How quickly you are able to remember your name, so also your remembrance of the Lord will take place. To remember the Lord, you don't need to anymore have to worry, or you don't need to sing bhajans or chant names or do rituals or go to a temple. Anywhere. Close your eyes. Remember Him. That is the beauty of now smritya bhavati jnanam. When you remember the Lord, Bhagavan's grace will come in the form of jnanam. Tesham eva anukampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavastaha. Bhagavan says, Tesham, those people who are able to remember me, eva, tesh anukampartam, buddhi yogam dadami. I give them the knowledge myself. Aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavastaha jnana deepena bhasvata. I create the light of jnanam in their heart by which their own darkness about everything else, ignorance, I will make sure that I will remove it. You just remember me. Bhagavan has assured that to such people, I will be giving the jnana. It is my responsibility. Smritya sambhavati jnanam. What jnanam? Samyak jnanam. Atma jnanam. Paramartha jnanam. Knowledge of oneself. Knowledge of the highest. Knowledge which encompasses everything else. Having known which nothing else need to be known. And that samyak jnana, when takes place, vimuchyate. Such a person becomes free from the bondages of samsara, life and death, all pairs of opposites, from rebirth. Because jnanam removes not only darkness, all misunderstanding, all bondages. Just like any knowledge that you learn, even in your own professional field, to that extent you are not ignorant, right? To the extent you know, to that extent you are intelligent. Nobody can fool you in that aspect. In the same way, when you know this highest knowledge, nobody can fool you in the world. Nothing can fool you in this world, because you know the truth of everything. You know the very core, the substratum of the things. Nothing in this world can delude you. Like a magician who knows how to do things, he cannot be fooled by his own magic or somebody else's magic, because he knows how exactly he is doing. Similarly, when Bhagavan himself gives his knowledge about himself and takes you into his abode, thereafter there cannot be any more rebirth, any more bondage, any more suffering of that life of death and birth and death and birth. Samyak jnanat vimuchyate. So dhyanam is the same. Vishayadhyanam, Vishayadhyanat pranashyati. Ishwaradhyanat vimuchyate. One becomes free. Why should we meditate then? Mokshartham. To be free. To come out of all our misunderstanding. And whom should we meditate? Ishwar, Bhagavan. So when you go to the temple or when you take up to any religious place, leave aside all other things. Remember the Lord and take Him within you. Associate yourself with the Lord. I am He, He is me. Soham iti bhavena. He is me, myself. And from that standpoint, you look at the world. May this new year bring you all health and happiness. Continue in your spiritual path, and may the Lord's choicest blessings be with you. And thank you so much for attending this satsanga. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.